Now that we've successfully created code that imports a variable text file and then fills in the labels, we now need to create the third piece of code, which is to add data or a date to the data. When I look at the sheet name, I can see, for example, in this case, December 2016. So I know that this is the December 2016 data, but it's not actually written anywhere in the actual spreadsheet. So that's what I want to create, is a column that says what the date is. Let's, for example, put these two windows side by side. So I'm just going to right-click my taskbar and put these windows side by side. The next thing I want to do is let's just run this one first of all and bring in a November file. So I'm just going to press F5 while I'm sitting in this sub-procedure and bring in November, a clean copy of the November sheet. Then I'm going to click on this sub-procedure and press the key F5 and automatically fill the labels. Now what I want to do is record another macro. So I'll record macro. Actually, I'll just cancel that and put them side by side so you can see clearly what's going on. Alright, so record macro, and I want to name it add dates. And OK. Immediately you can see the code has been generated in the Visual Basic Editor. What I want to record doing is, first of all, selecting the cell A1 even if it's selected, and there you can see the statement, range A1 is selected. Then I want to insert a column, so I'm going to right-click A and choose Insert, and so I've just inserted a column and pushed everything to the right. I then want to click on A1 again, and I want to type the column heading Date, and Enter. I then want to select the current region, which is Control Asterisk, and you can see there current region is selected. So it's really good when you have them side by side because you can actually see the code being written as you perform actions, and you can start to correlate actions with statements. But now I want to go Control G and go to the special cells, and they are the blank cells in that range. And the blank cells I want to populate with the 1st of the 11th, 16. And when I press Control Enter, it's automatically populated all those cells with the 1st of the 11th, 2016. I then want to go back to A1 so that I can stop recording at the same place as I started recording. And I now want to stop recording, so I'll click the Stop Recording button. And there's my code there. Now if I want to test it, I could just right-click column A and delete it. I could then come over to this sub-procedure and I could press F8 and just walk through it. F8 tells me select column A, insert and push things to the right, select A1, type date, select the current region, select just the blank cells, enter the date, the 1st of the 11th, 2016, and select A1 again. Notice also the date in the code is American format, month, day, year. So you must remember this is an American language, and so the dates are always referred to as month, day, year, and also things like the word color don't have a U in them. So that's really, really good, and that's the next part of our code. Now I want to make a subtle change to this code. For example, again we have the situation where a specific month and year are being mentioned in the code. So even if I was to go to December, for example, let's go to an instance of December here, the labels are filled in, and let's just run the code. So I'll click on Add Dates and I'll press F5 and it runs it, and it says that this is November 2016, where clearly it's December 2016. I need to declare a variable yet again. For the date, because the date will vary. So I'm going to use a dim statement and declare my date as a date. So date is another type of variable. Earlier we looked at my file was a string, which is text, and now we're looking at the fact that my date is a date. And then I want to use an input box to say my date is equal to input box. Input box is when you want a question to pop up and ask the user for input. And the question I want to pop up is please enter a date in dd/mm/yy format. And then just double quote, close bracket. So I'm declaring a variable because my date's going to vary every single time, and then that variable is equal to an input box, so whatever they respond with is going to be assigned to my date. And so later on down here where we say that we want to put in, this can be taken out, and value is a more descriptive word, and this is more descriptive as value as well. So the active set, so column A is selected, our column is inserted and everything's pushed to the right. A1 is selected, the value date in double quotes, which is text, is put into there. The current region selected, the blank cells is selected. Then the value, the 11/1/ is entered. This here all gets replaced with my date. My date is the value that goes into those cells. So let's just test it. Let's go to here, for example. Let's click on this option and press F5, and that just fills in the label. Now let's click on this option and press F8 and step. As I press F8 and I enter a date, so that's December 1/12/16, and when I rest on my date, it says my date is equal to the 1st of the 12th, 2016. F8 inserts a column, shifts things to the right, goes to A1, puts in the value date, selects the current region, selects the blank cells, enters my date, which of course is the 1st of the 12th, 2016, and then goes back and selects A1 and F8 one more time to get rid of the yellow. Brilliant. Just with F8 as well, a little bit of information regarding that. If I now go, say, to October, and let's go to fill labels. I'm going to F8 fill labels, F8, select the current region, select just the blank cells. If I decided actually just do that bit again, you can drag this yellow arrow up, and I might say just do that again. So it selects current region, select the blank cells, do that again, so I drag it up, so it selects the current region, selects the blank cells, and I can say do that again. So you can reverse up and F8, do that again, F8, 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 copy it, paste special, turn off the wiggle, which is what cut copy mode means, and go back to A1 and finish. Now when I come to here and go F8, at this point when I rest on that variable, my date is equal to 12 AM because we haven't put a date in yet. So you can always check what a variable is worth or equal to at any point in time, because it changes with time, just by resting on it. When you go F8 and F8, if I put a date in, and say I put in the 1st of the 11th, 2016, and OK, actually let's just do that again. I'm just going to right click and delete that, and F8, 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 input a date, 1st of the 11th, 16, and OK. Now when I rest on it, 1st of the 11th, 16, 1st of the 11th, that's what that date is equal to. And then I think that's not right. It's October. So I can reverse back up and say, actually, let me enter that again. F8, 1st of the 10th, 16. Or let's say I get it wrong again. 12th, 16. And I go, OK. And then I rest on it, go, oh no, that's not right. Reverse and do it again. See the idea? And then F8. And I go, actually, no, it's the 1st of the 10th, 16. And that's not right either. So 16 and OK. And then F8, F8, F8. So that's sort of the process. And if I get bored, like about now, just press F5 and let it finish the rest of it automatically. Just run the rest, F5, and it just finishes it. So F8 allows you to step one line at a time. If you see a mistake or you change your mind, you can drag the yellow arrow up and repeat a step. If you decide you just want to run it, then press F5 and it'll just finish it off for you. F8, F5, and being able to reverse. And a variable you can rest on at any point in time to see what that variable is equal to at any point in time.